Chromatic Tetris, which comes bundled on its own cartridge with the Chromatic handheld system, features a disappointing two-player link cable mode. Released by ModRetro, the Chromatic is a new, solidly designed Game Boy Color handheld system that plays original Game Boy and Game Boy Color games. From the alloy shell, bright backlit screen, and containing all the hardware features of Nintendo's Game Boy Color, the Chromatic is a pretty awesome device. Just be aware it costs $200 before shipping and taxes, and there's no SD card support like the Analog Pocket, so it plays games strictly from Game Boy and Game Boy Color cartridges. So as a quick summary, it's a quality system, but one that carries a higher price point. Adding value to that higher price point is Chromatic Tetris, a game cartridge that comes bundled with the system in an attempt to recreate the magic of the 1989 Game Boy's original launch. On paper, Chromatic's version of Tetris checks all the boxes. It's officially licensed from the Tetris company and by its original developer. It has all the modern quality of life features that you'd want too, like quick drop and having the ability to hold a piece. And it even contains the original Tetris theme music. But unfortunately, the multiplayer mode is disappointingly lacking. Even with 4 multiplayer modes, the linked play is pretty much pointless because there's no interaction with the other player. Marathon mode just keeps going like in the single-player game. You do not send garbage lines to your opponent. Ultra is how many lines can you clear in a certain time limit. Sprint mode is basically the opposite of Ultra, as it becomes a race to clear 40 lines first regardless of time. And the Endless mode is just that. You play until you die, again without sending garbage lines to your opponent's side. So there really is no point in going through the hassle of connecting a link cable. And by the way, a link cable is not bundled with the Chromatic handheld. Since your performance doesn't hinder your opponent in real time, this pointless race to the finish is moot at best. Therefore, even with all the expected modern quality of life features, the original 1989 version of Pack-In Tetris trumps this new version specifically when it comes to the multiplayer mode. Honestly, the multiplayer mode is so disappointing, I can't help but wonder if this was an oversight. Again, everything you would want is here in terms of features, but not being able to send a Tetris's worth of lines to your opponent is horribly disappointing, and, quite frankly, boring. Tetris DX on Game Boy Color and its horrible soundtrack still has a more entertaining multiplayer mode than this version. It's respectable that ModRetro would go through the hassle of releasing their own version of Tetris with their handheld, getting the rights to use the official Tetris license. Intimidation is a high form of flattery, but it's sort of like stopping at the final mile of a marathon. Why not include interactivity with the linked player when all the groundwork is done? It's a really odd and heartbreaking design choice. But what do you think? Have you picked up a Chromatic? Did you have a chance to check out this version of Tetris or any of their other indie releases? Which version of Tetris is your favorite? Let me know in the comments. And for plenty more analysis on the link cable modes of many other games and systems, see the links to my dedicated playlist in the description. Until next time, thank you for watching and game on.